Raila Amolo Odinga has issued yet another ultimatum that before Monday, William Ruto and his government must have withdrawn the finance bill. This video is to ask Raila Amolo Odinga to change his game. Today, I advise Raila Odinga that soon these threats will become counterproductive. Only recently, he gave a midnight deadline, another ultimatum. Nothing happened after that midnight. But before I advise Raila Odinga, and I'm least qualified to do so, allow me to thank Power Africa Solar, a company in America with branches in Kisumu and Nairobi, a company that makes high-end power, solar energy power solutions. Power Africa Solar gave us free portable solar lights or bulbs. And we went to distribute them in the famous Luombe village where I come from. The people of Luombe would want to say thank you very much to Power Africa Solar. But the people who are watching me today, I want to ask you to assist me reach more people in the same direction. But while distributing those lights, portable solar, I witnessed the sort of poverty, although I come from that area, that perhaps I didn't even imagine. I got to think, supposing I got a few mattresses and a few blankets to distribute some of those extremely poor fellows I noticed. People, if you looked at where they sleep, because in some of those rooms we were entering, some of the house is equal to one room. And look where somebody sleeps, I say, God, I wish I could have the power to distribute a few mattresses and a few blankets. Please, if you are attached, join us to put smile on the face of at least even just one person. Now, to the business of the day. I ask Raila Odinga to change his game. Because if you overdo something, if you issue threats, and those threats amount to nothing, which is what is now happening. If you give ultimatum, some people call that matter, and nothing comes of it, because you only issue ultimatum to a person over whom you have control. Does Raila Odinga have control over William Ruto and the government? You issue ultimatum over things you can follow through. Over things you can issue sanctions. There must be consequences for breach. If I tell my son or my daughter or somebody, don't do this, it must mean that if they do what I've told them not to do, there's something I can do. Beyond that, there's a question of people getting tired with threats, with ultimatum. If you think what I'm saying is not true, go through social media today and see what reaction there are coming from the president's remarks about border people having new motorcycles that don't use petrol, that use electric batteries instead of petrol. Look at what people are saying. To cap it all, what are they saying? Story za jaba. About the president. And for Raila Odinga, I know I'm not qualified to advise you. And in any case, politicians don't even listen to advice. But I'll go ahead and do the same. Politicians, of course, listen to only two people. One, to themselves. to political conmen and political brokers. People who know how to speak smoothly, sweet talkers. Those are the people politicians listen to. Sycophants, people who sing their praises, people who say what they want to hear. So today I'll say what Raila may not want to hear. Namely, stop issuing threats. As people refer to the president's promises as story za jaba, watu wataanza kusema vitisho vya baridi. Vitisho vya Raila ni vitisho vya baridi. Ni kama kelele za chura hazimzui ng'ombe kunywa maji. I want to advise Raila Odinga. Because even if you look at the substance of the threats, you cannot ask a government to withdraw a finance bill. Because how then does government run in the next financial year? Because not every listener, Raila Odinga, is a blind supporter. Sorry for using the word blind. My apologies to the unsighted. They are also critical followers. People who listen to what politicians say critically. They look at the finance bill and ask, should the opposition ask government to withdraw a bill? Which government would ever do that? None. And they ask, would it not be better for Raila to canvass MPs to vote against the bill? To ask Kenyans to push their members of parliament not to vote for the bill? Would it not be a better thing than give government ultimatum to withdraw a bill? It's intelligent, critical followers. I'm not saying you are critics, Raila. I'm saying you are followers. People who believe in you, but critical. Would it not make sense to look at the finance bill and the proposed amendments? For example, I have amendments myself. Why do you want to levy 3% of a guy earning below 30,000 shillings? That salary is too little. In any case, 900 shillings from that guy will never save for a house. Too little into the pool, too painful to the person you are deducting 900. Painful to him. But it is contributing nothing to the pool. Neither will it be enough for him to get a house. Number two, why do you cap so that you are about to reach those who earn good money, you stop? Why not say we are not stopping? It is 3% all the way to those who earn 2 million and beyond. In the interest of the employer, why not say we shall cap for the employer? The employer shall top up 3% up to a maximum of 2,500. Those are reasonable amendments. Because there's no dispute about the need for houses. There are issues because when you oppose something blindly, you lose golden opportunities even to ask golden questions. If this is public-private partnerships, PPPs, where government is giving land and the developers are building houses, what does the government need money for? Has anybody asked that question? Is it to buy land? Has government exhausted the land it has across the country? Will government not be buying land in Upper Hill, for example, somewhere in Nairobi, at 3 billion from that money? But the same government is renewing a lease of 5 acres in Upper Hill to a guy who has no building in that property. Those are the questions you lose an opportunity to ask golden questions when you oppose something for the sake of opposing. And therefore ask Raila to change his game. I would hate a time would come when people will ignore Raila Odinga. I would really hate to get to that time. But if you continue giving an unnecessary vitisho vya baridi, that time will come sooner than I would wish to see. And therefore I ask Raila to re-engineer his game. And in this respect, there are two options for Raila Odinga. Option number one, to say I've done my bit. And that bit is really big. I doubt, and I could be wrong, but I doubt there is a person in this country, dead or alive, who has done half of what Raila has done. All that we enjoy, those in power today are riding on the back of Raila Odinga. So if he says, I'm calling it a day, that's one option, and I'm not advocating for it. I'm going to the next option. The next option is to fight. To continue fighting for justice. Fighting for the people of this country. Fighting for the cost of living. For good governance. Good elections. Free and fair elections. For the server to be open. All that. But even there, again, Raila Odinga faces two options. And this is about the game I'm talking about. Option number one is to play this game and take over power from Ruto before 2027. You will not play this game by issuing ultimata after ultimata, by threatening mass action. And when I say take power from Ruto before 2027, in very constitutional means, and it is provided for by the Constitution. Neither is it a strange thing. In parliamentary democracies, Japan, India, Israel, Italy, UK, governments go home midstream and new prime ministers come. Even in kingdoms, kings abdicate. King Edward VIII abdicated, 1936 December. Even in America, great democracy, Richard Nixon resigned. Governments end midstream, constitutionally. And our constitution provides for it. So the first option in this second option is for Raila Odinga to play his game and get this power before 2027. That, I repeat, will not be achieved through ineffective threats, through unnecessary and too many ultimatums or ultimata. That will not be achieved every time going for mass action as if it's a tap you can turn off and on. No. It calls for bigger thinking, much bigger thinking than I'm seeing at play. The second option is for Raila to say we cannot remove William Ruto from power between now and 2027 and engage the gear of 2027 by assembling a team. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, Jeremiah Kioni, Martha Karua, Wycliffe Ambeza Oparanya, Winnie Odinga, Joe, if he's still around, including the power of Nairobi, Babu Owino for governor. Assemble a team for 2027. Move towards that 2027 with the skill, with the tact, and with the sight and the precision of an eagle. An eagle does not take chances. An eagle calculates from the skies. And therefore, I just have to conclude by asking Raila Odinga to change his game. The idea of threatening government, at midnight it comes, there's nothing. Monday you must withdraw the bill. No. You don't ask a government to withdraw its bill. You convince the public to convince the MPs, and then you fight and defeat the bill in parliament. You isolate items in the bill that are unconstitutional, like Omtata is saying. And when it fails and you fail to convince Parliament, you go the way you went with the security laws. You go to court, and the court removed some of those security laws as being unconstitutional. That is the way to go if you love your country. And therefore, from the bottom of my heart, as a man who loves this country, I advise the leadership of this country to be men and women who put country first. And to stop criticizing each other from whatever side you are for the sake of criticizing. If you don't believe in what government is doing, criticize constructively. And for government not to deride the opposition when they are making a sensible demand. But those sensible demands from the opposition will not revolve around vitisho baridi, ultimatum after ultimatum. That we are not going on with the bipartisan talks because this, withdraw this. No, that's not. That means, like I've always argued about the university where I teach, anytime 10, 20, 30 students blow whistles, communist power, the university is closed. Then I ask myself, supposing it was a business like Kenya Breweries, so you close it. That those who run institutions, I always argued, should be able to face situations like that, like those, without rushing for the easiest option, which is to close a university, for example. No. Equally, I ask Raila Odinga, not people like Raila Odinga and his team, to figure out how to deal with a government that is going rogue without going for the easier option of issuing ultimatum after ultimatum, of threatening mass action, which, by the way, is not a good thing for the country, because this is our country, all of us.